In a survival situation, having the right first aid items can mean the difference between life and death. Welcome to Prepper Items, where we explore essential supplies and survival gear for any situation. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of first aid, equipping you with the knowledge to handle emergencies effectively. We're going over 11 first aid items that should be in every prepper's kit. Having these items on hand and knowing how to use them can provide peace of mind and potentially save lives in a crisis. First up is Hydrocortisone Cream. You might be thinking, really? We're starting with something for itchy skin? But trust me, this little tube can be a lifesaver. We all know those pesky mosquito bites, right? Or maybe you're dealing with a rash from a new soap. Hydrocortisone Cream is your go-to for reducing inflammation and calming those flare-ups. It's a topical steroid that works wonders on allergic reactions, eczema, and even poison ivy. Imagine you're out in the woods, miles from civilization, and you stumble upon a patch of poison ivy. The itching is unbearable, and you don't have any relief in sight. Having it in your first aid kit can mean the difference between a miserable experience and manageable discomfort. Plus, it's relatively inexpensive and has a long shelf life, so there's no reason not to have it on hand. Next up, we have the compression bandage. This unassuming item is a cornerstone of any first aid kit, and for good reason. Picture this. You're out chopping wood, and the axe slips, leaving a nasty gash on your arm. The blood is flowing steadily, and you need to act fast. This is where a compression bandage becomes your new best friend. A compression bandage, as the name suggests, applies pressure to a wound, helping to control bleeding. It's like having an extra hand when you need it most. But it's not just about stopping blood flow. A compression bandage also helps to stabilize the injured limb, reducing pain and swelling. Whether it's a deep cut, a sprained ankle, or a strained muscle, a compression bandage can provide immediate support and relief. You can use them for a wide range of injuries, making them an essential item for any prepper's kit. Now let's talk about something we all love after a long day, cold packs. But these aren't just for relaxing sore muscles after a workout. In a first aid situation, cold packs can be your best friend. Imagine this, you're out hiking, and you take a tumble, twisting your ankle. The pain is intense and you can feel the swelling starting. What's the first thing you should reach for? You got it, a cold pack. Cold packs are like magic when it comes to reducing swelling and pain. The cold helps to constrict blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the injured area. Whether it's a sprain, a strain, or a nasty bump, a cold pack can work wonders. So next time you're packing your first aid kit, don't forget the cold packs. Let's face it, in a survival situation, hygiene isn't always at the top of our minds. But trust me, keeping things clean is crucial, especially when it comes to wounds. That's where antiseptic wipes come in. Imagine you're treating a cut, and you don't have access to soap and water. What do? You reach for your trusty antiseptic wipes, of course. These little packets are like portable sinks, allowing you to clean wounds and prevent infection on the go. Antiseptic wipes are pre-soaked in alcohol, or another antiseptic solution that kills bacteria and germs. They're incredibly effective at removing dirt, debris, and other contaminants from wounds. By cleaning a wound thoroughly with an antiseptic wipe, you're significantly reducing the risk of complications down the road. Just toss a few packets in your first aid kit, and you're good to go. Alright, let's switch gears and talk about butterfly closures. These ingenious little strips are a must-have for any first aid kit, especially when you're dealing with minor cuts and lacerations. Imagine you're out in the field, and you get a cut that's too deep for a simple bandage, but not deep enough for stitches. What do? You guessed it, butterfly closures to the rescue. These adhesive strips are designed to hold the edges of a wound together, promoting healing and reducing scarring. They're like tiny stitches, providing a secure closure without the need for needles. They'll keep the wound closed, prevent further injury, and reduce the risk of infection. Simply clean the wound thoroughly, apply the butterfly closures across the cut, and you're good to go. Moving forward, let's take a closer look at an item that's often overlooked but incredibly important. Nitrile Gloves. You might think gloves are only for medical professionals, but trust me, they're a must-have for any prepper's first aid kit. Imagine you're treating someone with a wound and you don't have gloves. Not only are you exposing yourself to their bodily fluids, but you're also potentially introducing your own germs into their wound. That's where nitrile gloves come in. They act as a barrier between you and the injured person, protecting both of you from cross-contamination. They're especially important when dealing with blood, vomit, or any other bodily fluids. Think of them as your personal protective equipment. Plus, they can help to reduce the ick factor when dealing with messy situations. You can find them at any drugstore or online. Now let's talk about a serious topic, severe bleeding. This is a life-threatening situation, and knowing how to control bleeding is crucial. That's where a tourniquet comes in. Imagine a scenario where someone has suffered a deep cut, and the bleeding is uncontrollable. Direct pressure and elevation aren't working. This is when a tourniquet becomes a lifesaver. A tourniquet is a tight band that's applied to a limb to stop blood flow. It's a last resort measure, but it can be the difference between life and death in a critical situation. Having one in your kit and knowing the basics could save a life. Remember, a tourniquet should only be used in extreme emergencies when other methods to control bleeding have failed. Let's be honest, cuts and scrapes are a part of life, especially for preppers and outdoor enthusiasts. And while most minor wounds heal on their own, there's always a risk of infection. That's where triple antibiotic ointment comes in. Imagine you're treating a minor cut and you want to prevent infection. What's your go-to solution? Triple antibiotic ointment, of course. This little tube is a powerhouse when it comes to keeping wounds clean and free from infection. Triple antibiotic ointment contains 3 different antibiotics that work together to kill a broad spectrum of bacteria. By applying a thin layer of ointment to a clean wound, you're creating a protective barrier that helps to prevent bacteria from entering and multiplying. This, in turn, reduces the risk of infection and promotes faster healing. Next, we're going to explore adhesive tape. We often overlook adhesive tape, but it's a true workhorse in any first aid kit. It's like the duct tape of the medical world, holding things together when it matters most. Imagine you're trying to secure a bandage, but it just won't stay put. Or maybe you need to create a splint for a sprained wrist. That's where adhesive tape comes in handy. Adhesive tape is incredibly versatile. You can use it to secure bandages, create splints, hold dressings in place, and even fashion makeshift slings. It's inexpensive, readily available, and comes in a variety of sizes and strengths. So, next time you're packing your first aid kit, don't forget the humble adhesive tape. Now, let's talk about another essential item that often gets skipped: gauze pads. They might seem simple, but these absorbent squares are a must-have for any first aid kit. Imagine you're treating a bleeding wound. You need something to absorb the blood and protect the wound. What do you reach for? Gauze pads, of course. Gauze pads are designed to be highly absorbent, soaking up blood and other fluids quickly and efficiently. They also provide a protective barrier over the wound, preventing further injury and contamination. They're like a soft, breathable shield, allowing the wound to breathe while keeping dirt and debris at bay. You can use them for a wide range of wounds, from minor cuts and scrapes to larger lacerations. Next up, cough and cold medicines. Now you might be thinking cough and cold medicine in a survival situation, but trust me, when you're trying to survive, the last thing you want is to be sidelined by a nasty cold or flu. Imagine you're in a situation where you need to be alert and functioning at your best, but you're battling a hacking cough, a stuffy nose, and a pounding headache. That's where cough and cold medicines come in. They won't cure your cold, but they can provide much-needed relief from the symptoms, allowing you to rest and recover. Having a supply of over-the-counter cough suppressants, decongestants, and pain relievers can make a world of difference. So, be prepared and pack those cough and cold meds. So there you have it, 11 first aid items that could save your life. By having these essential items in your first aid kit and knowing how to use them, you're equipping yourself with the knowledge and tools to handle emergencies effectively. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more essential prepping tips and strategies. Stay safe out there, and until next time, this is Prepper Items, reminding you that preparedness is key.